Almost anything Josh asked me, I'll pretty much say yes to. You know what I mean?
That's pretty solid.
Most people don't know Josh was the one that basically got me into MMA.
Really?
Yeah, got me. He got me going. He got my foot in the door. It started in L.A.
Really?
Right on Melrose and La Brea.
Yeah.
He came in the gym and I knew who he was.
Yeah.
And we just, I'm 22 years old. I'm probably that kid that you don't want to talk to because I'm asking a million questions. How much you make? Who's your manager? You're that young, so you don't know.
Do I get some Fremont strength?
Yeah. So, Josh led me in the right direction for sure.
Well, I tell the story. I tell the story similar, but I'm like, what it was. I came in because I had a fight coming up, and I was down doing a nightclub promotion. Because remember, we were supposed to meet out that night at the club. So I was down there doing nightclub promotion, but I went. I wanted to get a workout in, so I went. I can't remember. It was a shoot box gym, right?
Shoot box USA.
And I come in, and he's hitting mitts, and he's like cracking on the mitts. I'm like, man, who's this dude? Like, he's like, whap, whap, whap. I'm like, and then someone turned to me and goes, yeah, he fights at 170. I was like, there is no way that guy makes 170.
That was the old Rumble.
Yeah,
I always say,
no.
yeah, he fought at 176. He fought at 182. No offense, but, he was at 170. I'm like, yeah, a couple times.
But you didn't lie. You didn't lie.
So when I was there and him and I rolled a little bit, and then afterwards we all kind of talked about it, and then the guys that I owned the clothing line with, Knox, we were talking. They're good friends with him as well. So so we were saying, well, we're all going to meet up later, hang out, this and that. When we got there, right, this is what did it for me. Is I was like, I got to help this kid. Like, at least see if he wants to be a fighter. Like, let's see if I can help him get into a show, a bigger name show than whatever he's fighting in now. Is he showed up in a leather M&M jacket, like a race car NASCAR jacket.
But that's when it was hot
Yeah,
back then.
yeah.
It was hot.
They were hot.
Was
Oreo
it the Reese's? Or
No,
was
M&M. It was
okay,
M&M.
I had two.
Yeah, it was
I
the
had two.
M&M.
I had Reese's.
You know what? M&M's were hot and leather jackets were hot. Like, I love you. You're one of my greatest friends. I don't know if that combination was hot. But if you walk in with that jacket and I'm like, yes, sir. That's the coolest jacket I've ever
And you
seen
know
in my
what?
life, AJ.
My thing was, I'm a country boy.
Yes, I know.
So, the owner of the gym back in the day, Rodell, when he first met me, I had on the same jacket, but I had a straw hat on. That was just, I was just being myself.
Yeah,
And I'm
straw
like,
hat.
Georgia boy going to LA is like,
Yeah.
it's the culture is just different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Same
walking in
thing.
there looking country as hell. I had no idea what LA was about. All I know is just palm trees and lights, camera, action.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
But seeing me coming there with a NASCAR jacket,
Yeah.
a black dude with a NASCAR jacket, I didn't fit
What's
the
going
scene,
on?
at all.
I want to know what your grandma said because you were raised by your grandma. I know,
Yeah, my
like
grandparents.
your grandparents and the relationship you had and have with your grandma. Like, what did she say about the leather M&M jacket?
But she
Were you allowed to wear it at home? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, it's okay.
They didn't. You know what? My grandparents, they didn't really care.
Yeah.
As long as I wasn't in trouble.
And you,
They just didn't want me to be in the street. That was
And
that was the
to,
number
like,
one thing. I
To
respect
touch on what we were talking about was that's what turned me on with the whole AJ thing. Is that night we went to the club and he couldn't get in, and they were giving him and the ha about, oh, it's the jacket, and we're like, well, we could put the jacket in the will call area, or in the pickup, the jacket area. And coat check. And they're like, oh, well, he's got white shoes on. They're brand new fucking Air Force.
It was Air Force One.
Sorry,
Yeah.
like they're brand new Air Force Ones. Like, what do you mean? So it just became, oh, well, the pants are too big. It became excuse after excuse. So then when we went there, like after, I was like, man, and he was like, it's okay, guys, man. I'll just meet you guys afterwards. We'll hang out afterwards. It was like that kind of conversation. And it was like, it's okay, man. Don't worry about it. You guys go have fun. And normally guys that we hang out with, right, they would say like, they'd be pissed. They'd be arguing with the bouncers. And that's the one thing, once I realized that he wasn't like that, I was like, this is perfect. I said, these are the kind of people you want to try and help, like build their careers, and he rolled with me that day. It was like, he didn't have to help me that day. Yeah. So, like guys, like they
It
come
wasn't
in.
much help. Yeah. But I was a body. I was a body.
But you know what I mean? Like it's nice to have,
dope.
like, it's nice to have guys that are like that. So when I made a couple phone calls, hey, I'm going to bring someone up. He came up and trained at AKA for about a week. And Bob Cook and Dwayne Zink and those guys, they already had Koscheck and Fitch, and then Swick was at the time dropping to 170. So it was like, they're like, hey, we already got enough 170 pounds. I'm like, man, I feel so stupid. Like, I don't have anyone to help you now. And then I called up, of all guys, I call up this guy named Ken Pavia. Man, we were actually just talking about it on the way up here. And like,
Why do we
if
all
you,
just laugh?
if
when
you-
say the name, like,
if you know anything about MMA and management, it's like, at the time, he wasn't bad. I mean, he started, but there's a lot of things that happened throughout by the time I had handed him off to help AJ get into MMA or into the UFC, he did his job. He got him in. He got him in right away.
I will give him his credit.
It was like one or two calls, and he did his job and got him in right away. But then after that, the rest is a roller coaster. And if Anthony wants to touch on it, he can. But I'm just saying, we all know Ken Pavia and the history with the UFC.
docudrama.
Yeah, it's a docudrama.
it's like
good.
that's full on like Netflix.
On to bigger and better.
Netflix
Yeah.
original. Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, but I mean, that's how it all happened, man. It was just one thing led to another, and I was like, hey, man, this kid's a good kid, and I actually enjoyed having a conversation with him. And I was like, whatever I can do to help him. That's exactly how it happened.